Hey everybody, it's Lala. I am here today to talk with you guys about the this week's episode of Creatures of LA. This would be episode 3, right? 3. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so I took some notes. I am going to try to cover everything, but I may miss something. Bear with me. I will also try not to use any foul language in this video. If I do, charge it to my head and not my heart, right? That's what Christians say, right? Yeah, okay. That was probably rude. I'm sorry. Anyway, all right, so the show starts off with Dietrich walking with his mom, Mama Joyce, another Mama Joyce, and she's telling him that she would really like it if Dietrich and Dominique met with a marriage counselor because they both are very passionate people. And when you have two people like that, you can have a lot of disagreements and a lot of butting heads. So she thinks that it would be really, really conducive to a healthy relationship if they were more proactive with it and met with a marriage counselor now instead of later after something happened. So Dietrich states that he would do that. He agrees with her that that's a good idea. He wants to have a healthy, long-lasting relationship, marriage with his wife. And he wants to do that, but he does not want to do that with someone through the church because he knows everything that should be done biblically in a marriage, and that didn't work for him last time. So he wants to work with a professional, and I'm okay with that. I am a huge advocate for counseling and therapy and things like that. You guys know I got some problems up here. And if and when I'm ever in a relationship, I think that we should get counseling too, because I know and don't know what I'm bringing to the table. So I'm pretty sure anybody I wind up with is going to need as much help as they can possibly get. But that seems like this is like, I don't know. It's like really slow and draggy. I'm going to stop doing that. I'm probably going to give somebody a seizure. Okay, so yeah, they agree on that. And I think Mama Joyce had a great idea when it comes to the whole counseling thing. We go to Bishop Noel Jones and Loretta. They're at a little event in the community where they're handing out little odds and ends, things like water and juice like that, things that people need. Giving back like churches should do, and usually they do. Noel tells Loretta that he has to go to Louisiana. Is that right? Lake Charles? Because he wants to help this church that just experienced a tragedy where the church's pastor was shot down during their evening service, in the middle of service, in the middle of the church, in front of the congregation and the family and everything. Apparently the gentleman, I think he was like a deacon or something in the church, and he came in there with a gun and shot the pastor down and stood over him and shot him again and killed the pastor. So the church is suffering. They're losing people, and the wife is trying her best to kind of keep it going, but she's not being successful. So Noel wants to go down there and help them out and see what he can do. Loretta also tells him that she's going to be hosting a little cooking thing for the first ladies, or for the ladies, because she's not a first lady. So she's going to do that. She wants to get the ladies together, maybe talk a little bit about the crusade, and just have some time with the ladies. So they go their separate ways. We go to Pastor Jay and Christy, the Hazlets, which they're my favorite. And Christy tells Jay about the whole cooking thing with Loretta she's going to be going to, and she wants to first meet with Dominique and have a little conversation with her before the cooking thing, because she doesn't want things to be awkward. She didn't go to the sip and see because of the stuff that went down between Jay and Dietrich, but she just wants to kind of, squash everything between them so that they both have a good time at the little cooking, at Loretta's cooking event. So before that happens, Jay tells Christy, because she left church early when Justin came, so he tells her that Justin did show up, but he was so messed up, he passed out and everything. He was drunk or high or something, and he passed out, and they had to call the paramedics for him, and he genuinely cares about this young man. Like I said before, I just love Jay. I love Pastor J because he just seems like a genuine person, and he sees himself in Justin. You know, he wasn't as bad as Justin is at this point, but he was really close to it. And I know a couple of things about addiction and about how it can ruin your life. So I care too. I really want to see Justin do well. I really want to see him be able to turn his life around. And I think it's awesome for Pastor J to take this on. I did see a couple of reviews where some people were wondering if this was just for TV. I kind of feel like if it was someone else, I would wonder about that. Like last season, when Bishop Ron Gibson went to help his sister, I felt some type of way about that because he said that she was on drugs for like a super long time. But he waits until this show comes on to go and help her and try to get her cleaned up. You know, and that seemed a little opportunistic to me. It may not have been. Maybe there was a reason that he had to wait so long to help his sister. But I kind of felt like, you know, you should have did this a long time ago, not when you're on television, so you can get a whole lot of shine for reaching out to your family. But yeah, so I don't think that Jay is doing this for Justin just for TV. I don't really agree with that, but some people do apparently believe that. He just seems to me like he genuinely cares. That's all. He doesn't seem to know what he's going to get with Justin, but he wants to give it, you know, the best effort that he possibly can to help this boy turn his life around. And I think that's great. Let's see. Dominique is meeting up with her friend Sydney, and Dominique is just kind of catching her up. They haven't seen each other since before I think she had Destin, which is their first child, Dominique and Dietrich's first child. And she tells her about the little sip and see and what happened there. There was a little bit of drama and stuff. She updates her on her relationship with Dietrich's mom, Mama Joyce, and how they're in a better place now. She tells her that Dietrich wants a nanny and that she does not want a nanny. She doesn't agree with that, but she's hoping to talk about that with the marriage counselor that they're going to be seeing. And you know, after she kind of updates her with her life, Sydney tells her that she, you know, there's a relationship that she's in that's off and on, and now she's pregnant. She's 3 months pregnant, and now the guy that she's pregnant by doesn't want to be in a relationship. So she's kind of going through that right now. And I can say, as a single mother, and I was in the church when I got pregnant with my first child. I was, you know, every Sunday I was in the choir, stuff like that. It happens a lot. It's funny because the church will shun you when you go through these worldly situations. You know, it's just bad decisions, low self-esteem, things like that. There are a lot of men who will lay with you or convince you to let them lay with you, get you pregnant, and then go ahead and walk away, and they can care less about, or they couldn't care less about what happens with you and the baby or whatever. It's an epidemic. It really is. And I never thought that I would be one of those people, but I was. So, or I should say I am. So I kind of feel for Sydney. There are a lot of people in church who are there for all the wrong reasons, or they just have a lot of demons that they're still dealing with. And you would be surprised at how much negative happens in the church, with the church people, with the people who are devout Christians and stuff, you know. And Dominique even mentioned that she went through the same thing with Dietrich. When she was pregnant with Destin, their first child, he didn't even know if he wanted to be with her. He wanted to be with her enough to get her pregnant, but he still needed time to figure out whether this was something that he wanted to do. And I think that's really messed up. But it's life. We're humans, and we do what we do, and we learn from our mistakes, hopefully. And I hope that Sydney, I hope things work out for her, because I feel really, really bad for people who have to go through that. It's not an easy situation. It does not make you feel good about yourself. It's very difficult to explain things to your children, to just live that life, period, to do it on your own, to put your faith in a person and have them just drop you like a hot potato. It's just really messed up. So I feel for Sydney, and I just hope things work out for her, especially with her being pregnant. Not really sure if we'll find out or not, but it's a sad situation, but it's also a common situation. Off of my soapbox now. Bishop Noel gets to Louisiana, and that's my little notebook. He gets to Louisiana, and he's talking with, oh, I didn't get the name of the gentleman that's with him, but they're talking about the situation with the church, and now they want to restore the church. And Bishop Noel is saying that he wants to kind of call a team of pastors down to help him. He doesn't think he can do this by himself, and it's just a really, really terrible situation, and he doesn't know how he's going to do it, but he wants to do anything that he can to help this church. And that was pretty much it. He did send somebody, an advisor, down ahead of time to get some information about what was going on so that he wasn't walking into it blind. And they're all going to meet up and talk or whatever, and meet with the pastor's wife, the widow, and just get some more clarity on the situation. So Pastor Jay, he goes to Jennifer's art gallery again to check up on Justin. Justin's out the hospital now. He's still looking kind of bad, but thank God he's alive. And Justin Jay, I'm thinking about the YouTuber Justin Jay, who I absolutely love. Pastor Jay offers Justin a haircut. Now, I'm trying to tell you, once he started getting into that haircut, I was a little nervous, okay, because it was looking kind of choppy and raggedy, and I was like, Pastor Jay, like, I know you mean well, but you don't need to mess that child's head up. But after the fact, it did look really nice, but I was scared. I was holding my breath for a second, okay, because he was just a clip it away, and I'm like, you know, I know the boy ain't got no money and nothing like that to get a professional cut, but geez, don't jack him up like that. That make him feel worse about himself. While he was getting his hair cut, Justin was talking about his lack of a relationship with his father. We all know that his mother passed away due to cancer, I think when he was like 18 or something like that. And he was saying that his father just doesn't care about him. He just doesn't want to have a relationship with him. He doesn't care about Justin being out on the street and being strung out on drugs. And, you know, that hurts him. Obviously it would. I'm super duper close to my daddy. I still call him daddy. I'm in my 30s, but that's my daddy. And I'm close to my mom too. I'm close to my family. And I just couldn't imagine having no relationship with my parents or with one of my parents. It's crazy to me. And it's a common thing, but I just feel for Justin to not have anybody, to be out there like that. He could die any day and not have anyone even know it or notice him missing or even care about how he's doing. And there's no way that a person can ever make it out of such a deep and dark hole with nobody there fighting for him. So I think it's great that Pastor Jay is doing this. He gives him a good haircut. He looks really nice. He cleaned him up a little bit, gave him some clean clothes and everything. He's already looking like totally different, and he checks him into a rehab. So I look forward to seeing what is gonna happen with Justin. Christy, oh yeah, I forgot to say, or did I say it? Did I say that Christy wanted to meet up with Dominique about the Sip and See first before? I probably didn't, but Christy told Jay about Loretta's cooking thing, and she said that she wants to meet up with Dominique prior to going to the cooking thing so that they can talk, because she didn't go to the Sip and See because of all the issues with Jay and Dietrich, and she just didn't want things to be awkward. So they get together for lunch, you know, and they sit down and they talk. She gets to see the baby and everything, and she apologizes for not going to the Sip and See. She tells Dominique that she's got 2 kids that are way older than little Denver is. And she's like, well, how old are they? She said she got a 30-year-old and a 26-year-old. Christy looks good, okay? To have a 30-year-old child and a 26-year-old child, I would not have guessed that in a million years. She looks great. And maybe that's all that healthy eating and stuff. That old, I don't know, the black bean brownie thing and non-gluten and sugar-free and stuff. I might have to look into that because she looks good. She's a pretty lady. Her and Jay are a nice looking couple, and I don't know, I adore them. But they talk about the guys and how Jay really genuinely cares about Dietrich and Dominique, and that when he approached Dietrich, he was not coming from a place of judgment. He was coming from a place of love. you know, and Dominique tells her, and it makes sense. Dominique says that Dietrich is just tired of explaining himself to everybody all the time. And, you know, he takes it the wrong way because everybody's always judging him and saying something about everything that he's done wrong. So he just automatically gets his back up at this point. And what he really, really needs is a genuine friend, somebody who's really there for him and not somebody that's trying to put him down or take from him or something. So, you know, Christy tells her that that's who Jay is. You know, he genuinely cares about them and he cares about Dietrich, and they can have a really great relationship if they could just get past all of the stupid stuff. And you know, they agree to kind of get the guys together and make them sit down and kind of hug it out. And you know, they're fine. You know, they women don't really have those types of situations. You think that guys get over their problems a lot faster, but men can be more petty than women can be when it comes to stuff. It just is what it is. So, in my opinion, of course, I don't want to offend anyone, but so back in Lake Charles, Bishop Noel is talking to Lady Harris, the wife of the slain pastor, and you know, he's just like, what happened? Like, tell me exactly what happened, how it happened. She says that they were having evening service. The guy walked in with a gun. The visitors actually thought it was a skit. Like, that's how surreal it was. And just kind of walked up and started shooting. She said that the pastor ran towards her, maybe to protect her or whatever, and one of the bullets hit him, and he had stood over him and shot him again. And I just can't imagine seeing someone die like that, like your father or your husband or your grandfather or whoever in his family was there, even in the congregation, to just stand there or be sitting there and just witness something so horrific. And I mean, it will haunt me forever. She said that one of the kids passed out, and I guess so. It's such a terrible thing to have to experience. So the church is falling apart. You know, a lot of the congregation is wondering, you know, questioning God. Like, how could you let something like this happen? Where was God when this happened? And probably just not feeling safe either. I mean, I'm sitting up in church and somebody walks in and shoots somebody. I don't really know if I want to keep going there. I don't know. So she said that they were losing people, and she was still trying to keep it going. She's trying to preach and keep Bible study going and everything. But, you know, they're really, really suffering because people are leaving and not coming back. Yeah, so Bishop Noel, you know, he promises her, like, that he's going to do everything that he can to help her and help the church, and she's not alone. And, you know, it's a very moving situation. I teared up a few times during this episode because it was just a sad situation. I remember hearing something about it in the news, but I didn't, like, look into it or anything because, I mean, honestly, so many terrible things happen on a daily basis, and, you know, sometimes I just can't do it. Sometimes I don't want to know what's going on. I just want to be blind to it because it's overwhelming. Dietrich and Dominique sit down and meet with the counselor, a professional counselor, not somebody from the church. And, you know, she asks them, like, what do you guys do together? Like, do you have anything that you do as a couple? And she said that they watch reality TV. They watch Real Housewives of Atlanta and Keeping Up with the Kardashians or whatever, and that Dietrich gets really into it. He's, like, invested in, like, the shows and stuff, like he's there. I thought that was really cute. And they talk about wanting a nanny, and how there's so many responsibilities. Dietrich thinks that they need help. Dominique disagrees. She thinks that Dietrich could probably do more, and then maybe they wouldn't need help, you know, by a third person if he actually, you know, picked up a dirty diaper or changed a dirty diaper or did something like that. Dietrich feels like he does more than enough, and that if he did any more, he would be taking on the woman's role. You know, and that was pretty surprising to Dominique to hear that he had such traditional ideas when it came to the parents' responsibility. Dietrich grew up in a household where his father was a protector and a provider, and then that's what he did. He didn't do the womanly duties, and they had a nanny who was great and you know, handled everything that their mom couldn't handle, I guess, or just kind of helped out a lot, and she was just like a great asset. And Dominique, you know, apparently she grew up without a father figure. So she's coming from a completely different place, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I wrote that down. But yeah, so they want, Dietrich still wants the nanny, and Dominique is like, no, we're good. And basically, the counselor suggests a little compromise, like maybe having a nanny come for a couple of hours in the day, and also having Dietrich do a little more, change a couple dirty diapers, and just kind of get a little more hands-on when it comes to taking care of the babies. I thought that Dominique, because when he said that the man is supposed to provide and protect, I thought Dominique sang with Dietrich. So she would also be someone bringing in income, right? Like he's not just I guess he's like the main breadwinner, but I thought that she worked with him in his ministry as well. So I don't know. I feel like both of them are contributing to, providing for the family. So I guess he could contribute more to, the upkeep of the household and maintaining and stuff. But yeah, so they agreed to do that, and it seemed to work out pretty well. They talked about intimacy in the marriage and them just getting more grown up time together, having a little date night or whatever. So that was a cute little scene, talking about going to McDonald's and having intimacy with McDonald's. Back in Lake Charles, Bishop Noel meets with his group of pastors, his team, to discuss things. He wants to buy the church. He did state in the beginning of the episode that the church is not his denomination, but he still wanted to help out because of what was happening. So he's deciding to buy the church. They talked about this alleged infidelity and that there was some scandal going on with the church anyway. And apparently the church members, the church was failing prior to the tragedy, prior to the shooting and the pastor being killed. They were losing people. Lights were getting cut off. I think they said like the toilets weren't working. They had already had a dwindling congregation, and it was because of this alleged infidelity and just what was going on in the church. People didn't like it, so they were leaving, and apparently the pastor's wife chose to turn a blind eye to it, and it led to this happening. A lot of infidelity does happen in the churches. To be completely and utterly honest, I learned the most that I know about sex from people in the church, from the young people in the church. It's a lot of stuff that goes on that people don't realize, but it's a lot of dirty stuff that happens in the church. And pastors, not all of them, of course, but I mean, women, there are women who love men of power, and they are attracted to men of power. And a pastor, he holds a certain position where women want to be. They want to be with that person, and sometimes men can't resist it, because we're all human. So there are a lot of situations where pastors are doing stuff that they're not supposed to be doing in churches, and so are other people in the congregation and other people in the pulpit. People are people, they do what they do. I don't judge anybody because I got my dirt, and I know you got yours. So but it's not uncommon to hear about stuff like that. So he decides to appoint Pastor Wise to kind of taking over the pulpit and stepping in to help with Lady Harris, because they're familiar with him. I believe he preaches there a lot, and they know him because he's from the area. Then we go to Loretta's little cooking thing. And she is, let's see, everybody's there except for Lady Livette. I wonder why. So she's telling the girls, after they talk about what they're going to make, and apparently Dominique doesn't know how to cook, but that's okay because she keeps her husband happy, so there you go. They talk about, Loretta wants to tell everybody what happened at the dinner date with the Gibsons. And when I was watching some other reviews, I got some other views on Loretta and on the situation, and it actually made sense. When I was watching AfterBuzz TV, they were talking about the fact that I see that Loretta is very confrontational, and I personally feel like she's just sick of it. She's sick of having to explain herself and having to define the type of relationship that she has with Bishop Noel Jones. But when they were talking on AfterBuzz TV, when they were talking about it, they were saying that she's defensive, and it's probably because she gets tired of constantly being reminded of the fact that she will never marry Bishop Noel Jones. He's never going to marry her. And they also pointed out the fact that when she was going at it with Bishop Gibson and his wife, Bishop Noel Jones wasn't saying anything. He wasn't coming to her defense. He chimed in here and there just to kind of defend himself. But he didn't really stand up for Loretta. And it's true. I noticed that. And when you do care, when you do genuinely care about, you know, your significant other, you are going to protect them. And you are going to, you know, defend them and you know, try to keep somebody from disrespecting them. I do agree that that Bishop Ron Gibson cares a little too much about the relationship. But, you know, he believes what he believes. I don't agree with him. But if that's what you believe and you want to stand firm in your word, then that's fine. Personally, I feel that if you don't agree with it, then just don't deal with it. Like, if you think that I'm doing something wrong and because of that you're not sure if you want to participate in activities with me, then just don't do it. That's it. Especially if you've asked me over and over again whether I'm doing something and I'm telling you that I'm not doing it or that it's none of your business, then just move on and do something else, you know. But she also mentioned, I mean, I feel like she kind of omitted some stuff. Loretta kind of omitted some information when she was telling the ladies about what happened at the dinner, you know, because it just seemed like she was just being attacked, you know, and she was defending herself because she was being attacked. It is pretty obvious that Loretta feels some type of way about her relationship with Bishop Noel Jones. Even last season, she stopped talking to him for a certain, she removed herself from the situation because she didn't appreciate the status that they had and that they weren't going anywhere, you know, further with their relationship. He came back to her because he missed her and he missed what she gave him, but he didn't commit to anything. She says that she's okay with it, but it really doesn't seem like she's okay with it because she is extremely defensive. She basically says that she just doesn't want to deal with the Gibsons anymore. She's done with them. And you know what? So be it. Like, if we can't get along and every time we get together this happens, then just keep your, you know, distance. Stay, you do you and I'll do me. Everybody else is participating in a crusade. Bishop Ryan Gibson said that he wasn't because of the situation. But I do kind of agree with what they said on AfterBuzz TV. It does seem that Bishop Noel is just not, he's not going to marry her. She did mention in like the after show on last episode that if he proposed to her, she would say yes. And he acted like that was news to him. I don't think it was news to him because she's very vocal about how she feels about him. It's just that he doesn't feel the same way about her. I guess he appreciates her companionship, but that's pretty much the end of it, and that's where it's going to go. And I thought I heard something about him dating Lisa Ray or something like that at some point. If they were together for like 17 years, he's obviously dating outside of their relationship because I thought I heard something about that before the show came out. So, yeah, it's not happening, and I can see where Loretta is just getting tired of having to constantly be reminded that it's not happening, that it's never going to happen. Bishop Ron Gibson was wrong by just flat out calling her a Jezebel and saying that she'll never be married because of her attitude and everything. That was over the line. I mean, you know, that was just way too much, and it was disrespectful. But I really feel like that it was wrong on both parts. And now that I was able to kind of sit back and think about it and look at it from different angles, I see. She did mention that Lady Levette should question why Bishop Ron Gibson cares so much about Loretta and Loretta's relationship with Bishop Noel, but we'll probably hear more about that. And that was pretty much the episode. If I forgot anything or I missed anything, let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you in my next video. I'm not really sure what else I'm going to be reviewing. I'm just kind of, you know, going with the flow and just finding things and talking about it. So I'm gonna try to do a video for Braxton Family Values. I want to do a My Thoughts video for R&B Divas LA as well. And that's about it. So thank you guys so much. I love you. Thank you for all your support. And that's it. Okay, bye bye.